Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Taking Flight. It's Megan Holly, and today we're going to talk about swimming through Jello. I know you're thinking, what does that mean? Swimming through Jello. Interesting. Okay. And it is. And so this is a concept that came into my mind a couple of years ago. I was just kind of going through a hazy period, and I just thought to myself, what is this time? Like, what am I going through? What is the meaning of it? Why does everything feel a little kind of lackluster and uncomfortable? And like, I can't see through to the other side. Do you get where I'm going with that? So if you were swimming through Jello, it's like it's just clear enough that you can maybe kind of make out something on the other side, but not really. And also, I'm intrigued by the idea of swimming through Jello. So just the idea that alone is just kind of cracking me up. But in all seriousness, right? There's so much in life and kind of just that we come up against that feels kind of like not only is it hazy, but it's really kind of hard to push through. And we're kind of trying to make our way to the other side of whatever it is. And it feels like we're swimming through a vat of Jello. And so that visual has stuck with me because it pops up in my mind when I am feeling a little hazy or I'm moving through things that don't feel like they're budging. I keep this in the back of my mind. And I don't know about you, but for me, it just kind of has a comical way of tricking my brain into like coming down a notch, if that makes sense. And sometimes that's what we need to do when we are feeling hazy or uncomfortable. We have to come down a notch. I mean, there's just no other way around it. There's no other other route sometimes. And so if we can kind of have a little levity in life, if you will, we can really understand that it doesn't have to be so crazy and so hard. So when you're feeling like you're just up against this jello-y mold, this weird concoction that is seemingly wonderful in one regard, but holding you back in another, what do we do? Yeah. And today's episode is going to be pretty short and sweet because I just wanted to throw this thought to you. I wanted to kind of bounce the ball into your court, and whoever needs it in this moment, your reminder that when you come up against the haze, when you feel like there is absolutely no answer to your questions, that's when we need a pause. We need a kind of reflective moment to say, what in the actual is happening and what are the facts? So we mirror this kind of comical look at swimming through Jello with facts. The idea that, are we being really true and real to the actual experience in which we are having? Are we fabricating things that don't make sense? Are we, I don't know, kind of skirting around the real meat and potatoes of what we need to do? So this episode's a little bit about like kicking you in the butt. It's like a little tough love. If I can kick without taking the mic out, I would, but I won't. And it's just a little kind of flick, a little nudge for you to say, am I being real with myself? Am I like living in fluff town over here and like just making everything feel better than it is? But then at the underbelly of it all, I'm stressed and I'm feeling less than? Or am I doing the opposite? Am I creating something that isn't even anything at this moment? Making mountains out of molehills. Are you doing that? Because if you are, either way can be detrimental, right? Kind of living in la la land and digging yourself a trench for the apocalypse, right? These two things are very extreme. So we have to find ourselves back into kind of middle ground. So my kick in the butt for you today is, how can you get yourself to get real and get quickly to the outcome in which is the most realistic for you to do? So I want you to think of one thing that you feel maybe a little hazy around. Maybe it is a decision that you have to make, or it's just something you're feeling stuck in, and get factual. Get just gritty with it. Like, what are the actual facts that like anybody could read it and understand? Yes, okay, that makes sense. It's not a thought, it's facts. And once you kind of understand, okay, what is the real, what is the reality, I should say, the reality of this experience, this conversation, whatever it is, then you can start to extract what you're doing to either help or hinder yourself to move through it in a fashion that actually gets you on the other side of it. And so what this does is, right, and it's somebody who's like an eternal optimist over here, absolutely. What it does for us is kind of just levels the playing field, and instead of sitting here going, well, it will work its way out, or it's just a season, or it's just a bad day, or all the stuff that some of that toxic positivity can do to us, it gets us kind of looking like that hard, like I talked about in another episode, that hard look in the mirror of, no, my friend, this is actually what's happening, and these are the things that you can do to change it, combat it, own it, whatever you need to do. The other thing it does is helps us have a little bit better of an understanding of why. Are we self-sabotaging, right? That's why we're digging this trench. We're self-sabotaging ourselves into kind of a space because we're like, that's scary on the other side of this. And I know I kind of want to do it, but not bad enough. So dig, right? So once we marry the facts with the just where are you actually at mentally with this whole thing, we can kind of combine those together and it's a beautiful explosion of answers to get to where you want to go. And for me, I've quietly been working on kind of some health things for myself, right? And I quietly was doing it because I didn't need accountability anymore. Accountability wasn't what I needed. When I put the facts on paper and I got real with myself of what I was saying and what I was doing and how I was just actually experiencing what I wanted within this goal for myself, accountability wasn't the problem. I had accountability over the last little bit of doing these shifts and changes that I wanted to do for just my overall health. It wasn't cutting it. But guess what? It was when I got real and the facts. The facts were that I was choosing every day to make decisions that were not supporting the goal. The facts were that I was tricking myself into thinking some of the habits that I was taking on were the best for me when they weren't. They were just things that I thought would be helpful, I heard would be helpful, and I just picked them up. But they weren't working for me because the fact of the matter was it wasn't what I needed. What I needed was to ground down and just say to myself, this is a goal that I absolutely want to work towards. I want to feel better. I want to not be winded when I'm, walking upstairs and all these things. Those were the things that I wanted. And what was going to get me there was action. Action. So when I wanted to just swim through Jello and let myself stay like la-di-da-di-da in the haze of someday I'll get there, or maybe I'm just never meant to do, better for myself, or, oh, I'm healthy enough. All that haziness was doing me no good. So let's just cut through the Jello and get real with yourself. So I told you it's going to be a little bit of a tough love situation here today. What is it for you that you can just cut through to the facts? Cut through. Stop giving yourself all of these things. Well, if I had a better accountability situation going on, or I can find the person that's the right kind of accountability, right? Because that comes in play. That's a whole other conversation. But the right type of accountability is very important when we are using accountability as a helpful resource and tools. Instead of all of this fuss and muss, what is the action you are going to take? And how badly do you want to see the result? Right? Those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. What are the actions? And what are the results that we want? And how do we make that happen? You are literally one choice away. You are one just tough conversation with yourself. Only you can do this for yourself. Whatever this is for you, only you can do it. And what I want to leave you with is this. When you start to believe your own kind of hazy conversations is when it gets really dangerous. So go back to the facts. Find yourself kind of muster up the energy to just say the goal on the other, or the outcome on the other side of this goal, I should say. I can envision it. I can feel it. I can see it. What am I going to do about it? What am I actually going to do about it? Make that choice and start just stair-stepping over there. Find your way, find your groove. And for me, right, this goal for me of feeling better, feeling healthier, getting stuff that just feels good for my life going has not been easy or without its, tripping and falling or slipping back into that Jello. But because I have these facts right in front of me and it's just so prevalent in my mind, I will stand up and I will say, no, I am doing this or I'm not doing that or whatever it is that's going to get me to the other side, to the other just version that I have in my head. So what is it going to be for you? What are you going to challenge and take action on in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your health? What is it going to be? This is your reminder that you are capable of it, but you just got to come down from up here in the la-la and right into like the grounded source that you have within you to just do the thing. Do the dang thing, and you will start to see it flourish. When you get past that part and you start needing other resources like accountability or, celebration, I'm all about that. Then you can start adding those on and you can create this whole beautiful, just kind of ecosystem, if you will, surrounding this shift, this change for you. So I empower you to go on into this day, into this week, just steadfast in where you're going. Know that when you stumble, you have not fallen. Just make it a part of the dance and keep on moving, right? And you are going to do great things. So good luck and have so much fun with this. Have a little fun just tapping into yourself and just making this happen. Let's do this.